Have you ever felt like you skipped a part of childhood? Like everyone else was just being a kid and you were already worrying about bills, emotions, responsibilities, or keeping people together? Maybe you were called mature for your age, but what that really meant was you had to grow up before you were ready. And now you're tired. You overthink everything. You feel behind in life, even though you've been strong for so long. Today, we're talking about the psychology of a child who grew up too fast and why it still affects you, even now. Growing up too fast doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's just being the emotional support for your parents, taking care of siblings, handling adult problems in a small body, learning to be strong instead of being a kid. And at the time, you didn't think much of it. You just adapted, but your mind remembers. Point 1. You learned to survive, not relax. When you grow up too fast, your brain goes into survival mode early. You become alert, responsible, aware of everything. But here's the problem. You never really learned how to rest. So now as an adult, or even as a teen, you might feel guilty for relaxing. You procrastinate, but when you try to rest, you can't enjoy it. Your mind is always on, even when nothing is wrong. That's not laziness. That's a nervous system that learned to always be ready. You were trained to handle pressure, not peace. Why this matters? Because burnout isn't a weakness. It's what happens when someone strong never gets a break. Small step you can try? Give yourself 10 minutes a day to fully rest without your phone. No guilt. Just breathe. Teach your body that it's okay to slow down. Point 2. You became independent too early. Kids who grow up fast usually hear things like, "You're so mature. You don't need help. You can handle it." So you learned to do everything on your own. Now you struggle to ask for help. You feel uncomfortable relying on people. You keep emotions bottled up. You might even feel like no one really understands you. But deep down, you just never got the chance to be supported. Why this matters? Because healing isn't about being strong alone. It's about letting yourself be human. Small step. Next time you're stressed, talk to one person you trust, even just a little. You don't have to carry everything. Point 3. You feel behind in life, even when you're not. This one hits a lot of people. When you grow up too fast, you miss out on exploring. Other kids were figuring out hobbies, friendships, and dreams. You were busy surviving. So later in life, you might feel like, "I don't know what I want. Everyone else is ahead of me. I should be doing more by now." But the truth is, you weren't slow. You were busy being strong. Now you're finally in a place where you can grow, not just survive. Why this matters? Because comparing your timeline to others isn't fair. You had a different start, and that doesn't make you behind. It makes you resilient. Small step? Pick one thing you're curious about and explore it this week. Not for money, not for success, just for you. Point 4. You struggle with self-worth. A lot of fast-grown kids learned that love came from being useful, helping, fixing problems, being responsible. So now you might feel valuable only when you're doing something for others. When you rest, you feel lazy. When you're not productive, you feel like you're failing. But your worth was never meant to be earned. You deserved care just for existing. Why this matters? Because constantly proving yourself leads to exhaustion and self-doubt. Small step? Every night, write down one thing you did well, even something small. Train your brain to see your value beyond productivity. Emotional shift, understanding, and hope. Here's the powerful part. Nothing is wrong with you. Your habits, your overthinking, your burnout, your independence, they were smart responses to growing up too fast. Your brain did what it had to do to protect you. And that means you're not broken. You're just healing. Point 5. You can reparent yourself. This sounds big, but it's simple. Reparenting means giving yourself what you didn't get as a kid. Rest, encouragement, patience, fun. It means letting yourself enjoy small things, being kind when you mess up, not rushing your healing. Talk to yourself the way you would to a younger you, with care. Why this matters? Because healing isn't about forgetting the past. It's about building a better relationship with yourself now. Small step. Do one thing today just because it makes you happy. No reason needed. Ending. Recap and motivation. So let's recap. If you grew up too fast, your burnout isn't weakness, it's survival mode. Your independence came from needing to be strong. Feeling behind doesn't mean you are behind. Your worth isn't tied to productivity. Healing starts with treating yourself with kindness. You've already been strong. Now it's time to be gentle too. You don't need to rush life anymore. Start small. Rest a little. Ask for help once in a while. Explore something new. And remember, you didn't lose your childhood. You survived it. Now you get to build the life you always deserved. Try one small step tonight. Let's grow together.